Curious about the thin line between bluff and bluff calling? Believe fake cops have it all figured out? Strap in as we unveil the jaw-dropping reality checks they never saw coming.
That's got deputy sheriff stuff on there. You got a loaded rifle. You're a traffic guy, man. That's all your detail's going to be. What active shooter situation you going into? This is all because we're trying to look cool, whatever. I get it. Well, you're completely in the wrong. That's all I can tell you.
In the quiet town of Oklahoma, a peculiar character named Jackson Jones found himself entangled in a web of deception. It all began when reports surfaced of a strange police officer aggressively interrogating random individuals. But this wasn't your typical law enforcement encounter.
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything like that?
I don't even have a gun. Okay. I'm 19 years old. I ain't trying to talk. If this is going to cause problems, and the truck's over there, I'm just going to take out the vest, and I'm from Tennessee, so...
Okay. Why are you wearing the vest?
Well, like I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee.
As the officers pulled over Jones, the man claiming to be from Tennessee, a bizarre scene was uncovered. Wearing a police vest and uniform, even though he was off duty, Jones struggled to explain himself. Jones said, "I drove from Tennessee. That's why I'm still in uniform."
It's just a little odd because whenever I worked in the jail, I took my crap off, especially if I was taking a long drive from Tennessee. You got any kind of employment identification?
Dude, they don't give me that when you work at the jail.
Really? You don't have like an access card or an ID badge or anything for the facility that you work at?
I don't.
Officers doubted Jones, noting the lack of employment ID. Suspicions grew, revealing Jones wasn't a genuine cop on a drive. Undeterred, officers thoroughly searched his vehicle. Jones, displaying a delusional mindset, bizarrely requested to sit in the front seat as if officers were comrades.
Are you commissioned to carry a gun?
No, I'm not even.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
I don't even have a gun on me.
It's basically impersonating law enforcement, whether or not you're carrying a gun. That's impersonating law enforcement. Well, that might be true and fine within the jail, but when you come out to public, you don't have any arrest powers. Do you understand?
I understand.
A call to his supposed supervisor exposed a fake number, further shattering Jones's credibility. The arrival of a witness who had encountered Jones's erratic behavior provided the final blow. The witness said he claimed to be an undercover cop from Wilson, not buying it.
You were just in the driveway and he was just looking at you?
I got out of my car, I'm going to go inside.
Oh, okay.
He looked at me, and then I just went up to him.
And you don't have a gun with you or anything like that?
You can search the car.
I can search the car?
I don't care.
Okay, cool. Step on out if you don't mind.
Officers acted decisively as the pieces fell into place. Jones faced charges of impersonating law enforcement and an open container violation. The town, relieved, saw justice prevail as Jackson Jones, the imposter in blue, was removed from the streets.
You can only be law enforcement to get it. I bought it like 4 months ago. You can take all this stuff from me and keep me out of trouble.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, I bought all that stuff. None of that stuff was given to the county, so it ain't like I stole it.
Give me your phone back.
Like I said, I'm going to see DPS.
All right. Cool.
Casey Donovan Williams, a 26-year-old ex-corrections deputy, attempted to impersonate a police officer in Whitehall, Ohio, wearing a police-labeled reflective vest. He claimed authority to direct traffic based on alleged conversations with authorities, taking a peculiar turn in his misguided endeavor.
You have no ID from them, and have you ever been sworn in by them?
I've talked to the chief.
No. I'm asking you a direct question. Have you been sworn in by
It's
them?
very important you answer this correctly, because being a former police officer or someday a current police officer, you know if you lie in this situation, you go directly to jail.
No.
The officers grew increasingly suspicious as Casey dodged direct questions about his sworn status. The unsettling truth emerged. Casey was not a commissioned police officer anywhere in Ohio. His nervous stuttering only solidified the officers' certainty that they were dealing with a deceptive individual.
That's
Not
the
that,
question.
well, I'm
currently.
unsure. I'm unsure.
You can't be unsure.
You would have to raise your hand, swear, sign a form, and you would get
I've talked to the
paperwork on that. Talking to the chief is not enough.
Yeah, the chief of police is here. So, would you be willing to speak to the supervisor from the company?
From Watchman?
Yes.
Is he an actual police officer?
You are an actual police officer, correct?
Casey's plea for courtesy was dismissed as officers emphasized the severity of his actions. Displaying a fake badge and impersonating law enforcement, worsened by its lack of authenticity, led to charges for impersonating a police officer as officers unraveled Casey's layers of deception.
The company owner said, yes, I would not have sent a guy, 5-hour round trip with one of our cars.
I come out here, I was told, hey, you can start, make some money. That's all I was trying to do. I'm asking you for courtesy.
man to man, please do not ruin my career. Please, please, please.
Surprisingly, the shock did not end there. Upon searching Casey's car, the officers stumbled upon items that left them dumbfounded. A jacket that wasn't his property, and more alarmingly, a rifle. The officers, perplexed and concerned, questioned Casey about the necessity of possessing such a weapon while supposedly directing traffic.
That's got deputy sheriff stuff on there. You got a loaded rifle. You're a traffic guy, man. That's all your detail's going to be. What active shooter situation you going into? This is all because we're trying to look cool, whatever. I get it. Well, you're completely in the wrong. That's all I can tell you.
In a small town, the police stumbled upon an unusual character named Daniel Nelson, surrounded by a vehicle that eerily resembled a police car. Nelson boldly asserted that he patrolled as a police officer for a church, safeguarding the homeless. However, the officers couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss.
Step out with your hands up! Open the door! 74 dispatch. We're trying to felony stop. The guy's refusing to cooperate. Claims he's responding to some type of an emergency chaplain call. Hey, does someone want to go ahead of him with sticks just in case he decides to take off again? Just go sit on like Howell.
I got it. If you want to got it?
Sure.
As Nelson explained his mission to check on the homeless, the officers, skeptical of his motives, slyly obtained his date of birth under the guise of adding him to their list of local officers. Little did Nelson know, this information would lead to a deeper investigation the following day.
I don't know, but he's making his way.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Sir, I need you to step out with your hands up.
I'm waiting for dispatch.
No, you're going to cooperate with us.
Dispatch is sending a local police officer.
The faster you come back here, the quicker this ends.
Right now you're under arrest. Come on with your hands up.
The officers, responding to a suspicion that Nelson was inside a residence, arrived at the scene early in the morning. Despite hearing him talking to dogs, Nelson refused to answer. To their surprise, later that day, he voluntarily turned himself in at the police station.
All the way.
Mechanical guy is going to be on this.
Move your feet apart real wide, okay?
There's nobody else in there but my dog.
Make sure the car's empty. I'm just going to set up
together.
together.
We got the driver detained, still challenging the car. Alright, so you're free from anything sharp? Knives, needles, anything sharp? No? Alright.
In a 20-minute interrogation, Nelson, delusional about working for God, denied any police affiliation. Armed with witness statements and a fake patrol car, officers doubted his divine duty claim, conflicting with witness accounts of him posing as a cop. They probed his motives for engaging people at 3 a.m.
Who do you work for?
Guardians of the Grave. My chaplains.
Okay. Do you work for the Mohawk Police Department in any way, shape, or form?
I aid and help them wherever I can.
Alright, just sit tight for me until we figure things out.
I work with them for volunteer, and then I just had a meeting next, which is the Mayor's Association.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit further. Okay, just sit tight.
The truth unraveled, leading to a conclusion that Nelson's actions were far from divine. He now faces the consequences of his deceptive masquerade, destined for at least a year behind bars in Wisconsin State Prison. The town, once under the spell of Nelson's bizarre policing, can now breathe a sigh of relief as justice prevails over divine deception. In a bizarre case in Boone Beach, Florida, John Joseph O'Grady, a 61-year-old limo driver, reached audacious heights by impersonating a federal marshal for a grand scheme at Best Buy. Employees recognized him as a frequent visitor, unaware of his true identity.
Are you a police officer?
I'm not. No.
Okay. All right. What are you?
A federal marshal.
Okay. All right. That's what we had to ask.
No.
Okay.
So no, you're carrying a weapon with no ID on you?
No. Because I just stepped out of my house to carry it.
You have a number we can call for your supervisor?
No.
Okay.
Posing as a federal marshal, O'Grady attempted to confiscate tablets, claiming they were needed for his super important job. However, his act quickly unraveled when local law enforcement confronted him.
I thought you were a federal marshal.
Hey, here, you got a badge that says U.S. Marshal. You're claiming to be U.S. Marshal if you have a badge. What does that say on it?
Marshal.
So why are we carrying around fake stuff? You know it's illegal.
No, I didn't know.
We just asked you, are you in law enforcement? You said, yes, I'm a U.S. Marshal.
I
That's illegal. That's a felony.
Despite the initial uncertainty, O'Grady stuck to his fabricated identity. When pressed for his federal marshal ID, he admitted to not having one. The situation escalated when the cops discovered O'Grady was carrying a fake weapon.
Doesn't matter if it's a BB gun.
didn't know that.
It's not the fact that you're carrying a BB gun, it's what you said.
fact that you're carrying this, you're carrying that badge.
O'Grady's attempt to play innocent failed miserably, with the cops unmasking his felony. The limo driver, handcuffed and seated, tried feebly to claim ignorance of the law, insisting he didn't know it was illegal to use a fake gun and badge to swindle devices from a Best Buy.
Anything else that says you're a marshal or anything like that?
No.
You don't have a heavy vest?
No.
No more badges? I can look for that?
You can look for anything you like. I started off collecting badges.
Yeah, if you would have said something like that earlier, but you identify yourself.
In this comical yet bewildering encounter, O'Grady's feeble attempts at deception crumbled, leaving law enforcement and even Best Buy employees amused at the audacity of this self-proclaimed federal marshal.
I remember he had a pin, and I remember he showed me his gun.
If he worked for anybody or anything like that?
No. The reason he showed it to me was he came in with an OtterBox Defender, the very bulky one. He didn't know how to put it on. He told me his wife couldn't put it on, he couldn't put it on. Let me show you, so if you ever need to take it off. He's like, yeah, I can't take that apart, but I know how to take this apart, and that's when he showed me the gun. Okay.
In the quiet streets of Ackworth, Officer Park encountered an unusual duo, Jaredson Mackey. Drawn to the erratic use of emergency lights, Officer Park pulled them over, suspecting a potential impersonation of law enforcement.
I'm an off-duty operator. I just working off really kill. That's my ID. That's my badge.
Well, there's emergency lights. And did I see you use an emergency light?
I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice? That's a standstill.
Who do you work for?
This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
Oh, no, sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
Mackey, claiming to be an off-duty hero or highway emergency response operator, presented a vehicle registered under his name instead of the Georgia Department of Transportation, setting off immediate red flags. As questions unfolded, Mackey defensively justified his actions, insisting on being within his rights as an off-duty operator.
He has a lighting permit that's valid for the vehicle. To have
Can't have red though. Can't have red or blue, right?
That's what I'm curious about. If he has a company that does escorts, I'd have to look back in the law. I would assume it's amber. But at the very least, from what Chief's saying, he's improperly using it. He's not on an escort. He's just trying to cheat his way into traffic. So at the very least, I have improper use of emergency equipment.
However, the officer's keen instincts led to a deeper investigation. The revelation was shocking. Mackey had been terminated 6 months earlier from the Georgia Department of Transportation, yet he clung to his badge and permits, weaving an intricate web of deceit.
I'm telling you how it's going to work. Even though I'm doing this on my private side, once I get this ticket, GDOT is going to ground me again. Don't interfere with my personal business with GDOT. Anytime they run a driver's license number, I'm going to get grounded. I'm pleased. I run my company respectfully. Okay? Because I deal with high clients. This is my uniform. Nothing on me say officer, nothing. This is my uniform.
I got you.
Officer Park issued a citation for the unlawful operation of an emergency vehicle, unmasking Mackey's audacious attempt to manipulate the system. Further verification of Mackey's employment revealed the extent of his deception. Despite providing information, including his LLC, Mackey's elaborate story crumbled.
I'm not trying to be no pain in your hip, but Chief, please, man, I don't want to get grounded. Please, from GDOT. I beg of you.
I don't think you're bad. Let me have your business card.
No, I just don't want to get...
you're impersonating a police officer.
No, I don't impersonate police officers, sir. That's why I was careful. I present myself and my uniform. Also, I'm a former police in the Bahamas.
2 days later, the charade reached its climax as Mackey was arrested for impersonating a police officer. The officer's resilience in unraveling the truth showcased the inherent dangers of those who exploited the thin blue line for personal gain, ensuring that justice prevailed on Ackworth's unsuspecting streets. In the world of impersonating police officers, some individuals believe that confidence is the key to their deceptive charade. However, Omar Ford learned the hard way that playing cop has its pitfalls, especially when attempting to pull over a real off-duty police officer.
He's like right on my and I'm like, is this guy trying to pull me over because he has white lights? And then I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. And then he goes, you just slow down when you're passing me. You just need to slow down right now. And I'm like, so I stopped. Are you trying to pull me over? So then I just called 911.
Ford, in his misguided attempt, had a glaring giveaway: white lights. The off-duty officer, with the top down, immediately sensed something was amiss, as Ford changed siren tones, attempting to mimic a real police encounter.
I thought he might have been intoxicated. I didn't want him to hurt himself. I blew my horn and I flashed the light next to him and said, hey, slow down. You're going to hurt yourself. And he looked like he was going to He started following me. I made a U-turn and then he kept on following me. So I came here to make another U-turn. He kept following me. I said, well, maybe something's wrong. Let me get out and find out.
The off-duty officer recalled a perplexing perplexing moment when, with the convertible top down, he heard changing siren tones. The individual's casual remark and white lights illuminated the scene, prompting the realization that he might be attempting to pull him over.
Are you retired or anything?
Retired?
Yeah.
Well, I'm past military.
So you've never been to DUI school or anything like that to recognize patterns of impairment?
No, I didn't go to no DUI. I just traditionally going home. I just didn't want him to get hurt. I was a concerned citizen at this point.
Recognizing the irregularity, the off-duty officer wisely pulled over, called 911, and alerted on-duty cops to investigate the fake officer. The faux lawman, sporting a vest reading Criminal Task Force, was about to face the real consequences of his ill-conceived role-playing.
Do you have any firearms in the vehicle?
Yeah, I have. I work with firearms.
Where's your firearm at?
It's on my side.
All right.
You want me to step up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and just step out. Step right back here.
The on-duty officers, undeterred by Ford's vest and pretend authority, continued their questioning. Ford's attempt to play the concerned citizen fell flat as they unraveled his charade. Booked into the county jail, Ford was forced to post a $2,000 bond to secure his release.
We can pick up cues that would give us probable cause to pull that vehicle over. We have to have probable cause, and we're trained. You're not. And according to him, you hit a siren. All right. He thought you were LEO. You're not going to be arrested, but there is going to be charges filed on you. All right. They're going to go to the state attorney. I'm not going to arrest you, but we're going to document the incident, and we're going to send it up to the state attorney to let them determine.
In another Florida incident, a police officer responds to the scene where a man recounts an encounter with another driver at an intersection. The alleged impersonator initially claimed to be a sheriff and swiftly upgraded his self-proclaimed status to that of a federal officer.
Comes out with that German Shepherd inside the truck, comes to my window. You speak English? I'm supposed to go first. You're supposed to wait, and then I go. And then I was like, I'm so pissed off right now because he's supposed to be a sheriff. Then now he became federal officer. You got to be a federal retired officer.
Not 2 years.
Engaging the impersonator, the officer encounters a different account. The individual attempts camaraderie, presenting an alternate version of events, explaining a right turn blocked by another driver for no apparent reason. Seeking clarification, the officer questions the decision to exit the vehicle with a dog.
You have your truck that's perfectly safe where you can retreat to, but instead you get out with a dog for what purpose? To protect yourself?
Because he'd go nuts if I didn't take him with me.
Regardless, I don't care if he does or not.
Okay.
So you got out to intimidate them with a dog.
And I explained it to him.
Okay.
And
A dog is the same thing as an aggravated assault, sir.
Did not know that.
Despite the impersonator's attempt to justify his actions by citing a game-like scenario, the officer, seasoned with 21 years of experience, dismisses attempts at familiarity. The cop underscores the insignificance of the individual's claimed federal status.
When you pull your badge out, and did you show your badge to these people?
Yes, I asked him.
You're not a federal agent, sir. That's called impersonation of a law enforcement officer. That's a third-degree felony in the state of Florida. Yeah, do me a favor. I'm going to put you in the back for right now. Right now, you are going to be detained because this is getting a lot more in-depth. Where's your gun at? Right here?
The officer reveals the impersonator's tactic of using a dog to instill fear, categorizing it as aggravated assault. A firm message is delivered, enlightening the impersonator about legal consequences, ensuring it is noted on his impending arrest record.
You are not under arrest, you are being detained. But I am going to read you your Constitution and your Miranda warnings right now. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the attorney to have him or her present with you now or anytime during the questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, will be appointed to represent you at any time you wish to remain silent or have an attorney present. All questions will be stopped. Do you understand that? Yes, sir.
At a red light, chaos ensues as a collision takes place. The officer, responding to the scene, encounters a disoriented individual with lacerations on his face, restrained in handcuffs. The officer swiftly calls for medical assistance while trying to piece together the unfolding events.
Hold on 1 second. Leave him there. 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 Radio, can I get a report on my location? I have a black male with lacerations to his face.
What happened? I would bet money on.
Who took the handcuffs off?
I don't know.
As the officer assesses the situation, he discovers that the handcuffed individual had allegedly taken off in an SUV after leaving a strip club named Peaches. The officer queries the individual about the handcuffs and the story behind his current predicament.
Peaches? Okay. I got you. Over on RDA?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Did you guys get into it with security over there?
Sir, I don't know. Okay. All I know is that's my husband.
Gotcha. Say less.
I'm going to grab your
Appreciate it.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
The officer asked the individual, "How did you wind up in handcuffs?" The individual, seemingly intoxicated, explains that there was a previous altercation at the strip club involving a male and female who were left in handcuffs. The officer takes note of the information and proceeds to further investigate the situation.
Whose handcuffs is he wearing?
Mine. He took off. He jumped in the SUV and took off.
I mean, it's Metro to Fair, so like almost down to 166. Wiped out real hard. Hurt some people, hurt themselves.
The officer learns that the individual in handcuffs had commandeered an SUV and caused an accident. As the investigation unfolds, the officer discovers peculiarities, such as the license plate being from a school bus and a scanner in the vehicle.
The license plate is off of a Bluebird school bus from Tucker, Georgia. That's how he got a GB tag.
Radio check this thing.
That's PA.
The individual is temporarily detained for further inquiry, and the officer takes possession of potential evidence found at the scene, all while trying to untangle the complexities of the situation.
Right now, you are not under arrest. You're just being detained for the further investigation here. Do you have a key to your handcuffs?
In the car.
Keys in the car?
Yeah.
Who's the radio through?
eBay. Nobody.
Okay. It's not a Homeland radio?
No.
Okay. This for a minute.
In the dark night in New Mexico, 18-year-old Brandon Wasinski masqueraded as a law enforcement officer. A genuine police officer, noticing the absence of customary markings and unconventional attire, approached Brandon, seeking answers to unravel the peculiar situation.
You say you work for Warren Sheriff's?
Yes, sir.
Do you have an ID with you?
And this is all I got. I mean, like I said, I'm under equipped. I was just heading over there to the courthouse.
Okay. Why do you have lights on this vehicle?
Personal. I know.
Do you have an ID with you at all?
No, I keep it on my uniform.
Brandon claimed affiliation with the Bernal-Leo County Sheriff's Department, incongruent with his youthful appearance and lack of identification. The officer, sensing a discrepancy, probed further, requesting verification. The young pretender, armed only with a badge, explained he was en route to the courthouse to retrieve credentials.
And I'm not here to mess with you, man. It's just the thing is, yeah, he was speeding, dude. You could have called it in. Because if you get into shooting, you're
right. I understand. This, for starters, I know this looks really bad.
Right.
This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
However, the officer, perceiving the inadequacies and irregularities in Brandon's story, opted to detain him temporarily for closer scrutiny. Despite his apparent confidence, Brandon's facade eventually crumbled when he confessed that he was not, in fact, a law enforcement officer.
I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. I'm not a cop.
Okay.
He's not a BCSO employee at all?
No, but we're going to have BCSO come out anyways. Yeah, look like a BCSO badge.
Do you have him detained now?
Yeah, he's in the back of my car.
Okay.
The officer, after confirming Brandon's lack of Sheriff's Department affiliation with his superior, unraveled the situation. Brandon, an imposter who bought the badge online, tearfully pleaded to call his wife. The officer, a professional, assured him he could make the call later.
You got this online?
It was at one point my father's. Do you mind if I call my wife and tell her I'm not coming home tonight?
It's going to be a decision these gentlemen make. If you'll hang tight.
Yeah, give us a little bit, all right?
Okay?
This escapade serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the perils of misguided attempts to assume authority without the appropriate credentials, culminating in the inexorable encounter with the consequences of impersonating a police officer.
Your car or personal car or company car?
My car.
Your personal car?
Yes.
Okay. Who installed the lights in your car?
I did.
Okay, and when I peeked into your car, I also saw that you had some sort of radio. Is that yours too? Okay.
In Georgia, a police officer pulls over a white Challenger due to intriguing reports. The flashing lights on the vehicle immediately capture the officer's attention. The officer questions the driver, "What's with all these red lights? Did I see you use them to pull out into traffic?"
Those they're red and blues. They are? Yeah, I turned them on. He said they are. Yeah. So you're a chaplain. You're not sworn law enforcement. Yes, I am. You're the chaplain. I'm a senior chaplain, yes. Hi. Hang out for a sec.
The driver attempts to justify his actions, claiming he was merely trying to merge into traffic. Despite reports of the driver using emergency lights to bypass traffic, he confidently asserts that he operates as an offloading hero operator for his own company.
I'm saying when I get a chaplain's call, I generally turn my lights on. You turn your lights on? When I'm called out, generally if it's a catastrophe, a major accident or fatality, you gotta see back here.
The driver exploits emergency lights for swift navigation through traffic, a desire many share, but refrain from due to illegality. The officer discovers the driver has a permit for lights, but the use of red lights is impermissible under the law.
You are being placed under arrest for the equivalent violation of using red blue lights on a non-emergency vehicle and impersonating a police officer. You understand? I understand. Okay. Do you have any firearms in the car that we need to know of?
No, I have no firearms.
No handguns?
No handguns.
Okay.
But how am I going to let my class know? I got a group of people waiting on me.
They're gonna have to figure it out. Okay?
The driver's nonchalant disregard for traffic rules is evident, highlighting potential legal repercussions. The officer encounters a driver who, in pursuit of convenient traffic maneuvering, flagrantly flouts regulations, facing potential consequences for the unauthorized use of red lights.
We called Sparks. Okay, we talked to a sergeant. I don't remember his name. Is this a company
that gets me in the game?
That's like a security kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're physically taking these, giving them back to Sparks PD,
okay,
and then they can decide whether or not what's going on with you furthermore after that. Okay, does that make sense? So those are mine now.